How have you made it easy for Ugandans to go and do mountaineering in, let's say, Rwenzori or even Muhabura? First of all, they don't know who to go to, Ugandans.
No,
they may not know. You have to look around.
I am actually very impressed with the way Ugandans have picked up on mountaineering. Yeah, there's the mountain club. There are about 4 or 5 different hiking clubs, you know, and Ugandans are right now hyped up into, you know, being part of this, you know, new trend of
How much
hiking.
does the tourist pay to go to Rwenzori Mountain?
It depends. Because
if you want
there
to go to
are trails,
Margarita,
there
like
are
if you
trails.
want to go to the peak, the highest peak.
But you see, I want to put a disclaimer on the fact that mountaineering does not necessarily require that you must reach the highest peak. Yeah, because you can be very, very fit and not make it up there. Why? Because our bodies respond differently to the altitude. We had some of the most fit, you know, human beings with us when I did the expedition. They dropped off along the way because, you know, because the oxygen became a problem. Because when you reach a certain level, you're not advised to go up because it will just cost you your life. Yeah.
Why would you carry the oxygen cylinder?
No, they are oxygen, but the oxygen cylinders are there, yeah? But depends on how your body responds to that. If already at 3,000 meters, your body is doing so bad, there's no need of you getting to have oxygen supplement at this level to go all the way past 5 meters high. Yeah?
What amenities are available? Because I was told that people pay, go to do mountain hiking, and they sleep in infrastructures that are quite shanty. So, what are the amenities out there? I'm told things are pathetic in some areas.
I'm not sure where this experience is.
The Rwenzori.
Yeah, the Rwenzori, there are three trails. There is what is the trail that is being managed by Uganda Wildlife Authority. And it's very clear, if you go to Uganda Wildlife Authority website, it's very clear that that trail does not have facilities. So it's really for those who want to do it themselves. Yeah, so you carry your own tent, you know, and you do it yourself because they don't have facilities on that trail. The central circuit is being managed by Rwenzori Mountaineering Services, yeah, which is a community-based organization. Yeah, they are actually
Lily,
government has invested. They are wooden cabins. I have been to the Alps. They sleep in wooden cabins. You don't expect a 5-star. Now, if you go to Kilembe Trail, they even have hot showers on Rwenzori. So it depends.
About the internet, because one other thing that is limiting is that whatever experience you want to have, you can only share it later on when you are less fatigued and less broken.
But you know that is debatable. Because
you go to Kilimanjaro, there is internet also.
That has its disadvantage.
What is the disadvantage?
Yes, I know we must have the internet.
You need to communicate.
Yes, but there's also, you know, there's where you go and you feel completely absorbed in the nature because you are not being distracted by the phone. Because I went to Kilimanjaro as well.
Have you tried to ask those routes? Have you tried to ask the tourists who come here and they want to do mountaineering?
Yeah.
Some of the things that they would have expected up there, and maybe use that to inform the decisions and investment.
I know it's important, Yeah, I know it's important, but I wouldn't say, you should have that on all the routes, because even Kilimanjaro doesn't have it on all the routes.
Okay.
I personally went on the northern route that does not have internet, and everyone I went with, not in my group, because there are different groups that are hiking on the same route, they are happy to have their peace.
Okay.
Yeah, and yet there's one of the routes they call Coca-Cola that is so popular. Those who want internet use the other circuit, and I think also on Rwenzori
Those options should
there
be there.
should be,
those
the options to do that. Yeah.
And then let's go to the gorilla. There were issues of people selling permits, here and there. And do you believe there is still a problem of corruption in this sector? That maybe if Uganda is collecting 4 trillion, it should have been 5, but the other gets fizzled somewhere else.
I personally believe in systems. I believe in systems. I think where the systems are not working, they should be improved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should be improved, because it's also to the convenience of the visitors. Because if I can already pay from Europe and I don't have to come to Uganda and struggle, which is now happening with the gorilla permits. But of course, when you have systems, there always has to be controls, and there should be, controls. I believe that Uganda Wildlife Authority has learned their lessons. There should be better systems in place now. And I think this should be not only with gorilla permits, it should be with everything. And not only in tourism industry, it should be with all the sectors as well. So yes, where.
And then there are these tourism companies. Some that are coming up and they are conning tourists left, right and center. And that is already giving a bad image about Uganda. Have you tried to arrange on how tourists are supposed to be coming into the country and having a list of approved companies that they must go to? Is that in place?
Yeah. You see, the thing is that Uganda Tourism Board has also the mandate to regulate the sector. So in our communication, one of the key messages we give out is that if you are going to deal with any tour operator, kindly look at the website of Uganda Tourism Board to see who is licensed. You're going to hire freelance, guides, look at who are those who are licensed. The list keeps changing every day. At least we have that system in place, because somebody will register today, next week they go and inspect them, within the same week they are licensed. Yeah, because they meet all the requirements. So every day it's changing, new companies are registering and being licensed. So that for sure I know.
So if a tourist complains about a company,
so we have had those cases. Of course, the number one thing is we advise them to report to the police, and then on our side, it's about checking is this a license, company. If it is a license, we engage them, and some of them have been delicensed. Yeah, depending on the circumstances, because there are some of them that have happened that somebody actually really straightforward conned somebody. They got their money, they spent the money. Now when these tourists have to come, they didn't have the money to facilitate their trips. But there are also some situations where maybe they have undercosted. Yeah. So that we come in to help, negotiate and say, okay, why don't you provide what they want? Maybe you can, you can still make that trip happen, yeah, without getting the tourists to feel, they have really been conned. But there are those who are outright there, just trying to con. Now we are working, Uganda Tourism Board is working very closely with the tourism police. Yeah, I know there are those who have been arrested, taken in, and there are those who are busy raising money to pay back, it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, it's a challenge, but as we tighten, because even as we talk, I know Uganda Tourism Board team from the Quality Assurance Department are out there, inspecting and trying to make sure everybody falls in line. And it's so key. It's so key because for Uganda to be competitive,
such things shouldn't happen. Yeah. And then, is there anyone who goes? Is there anyone have you encountered challenges in your last 6 years journey as the CEO of Uganda Tourism Board?
Challenges are always there. For me, the biggest challenge has been the pace at which we are moving, with the development of tourism. As somebody who breathes tourism, and understands the potential that this country has in transforming its economy through tourism development. For me, that was like number one challenge. Like
number two?
Number two is developing the capacity, from the infrastructure to the human resource. Ugandans are so talented, but they just need to be, trained and developed to deliver the first class, services. So that has been a challenge. And sometimes for me, it was very challenging. I go out there and I'm marketing Uganda so passionately. And when people go to a certain place, the level of service is not going to be exactly as
you have marketed.
I am trying to, market it. So for me, that was also a big challenge in we are pushing, but the quality of service needs to be improved. Yeah, from even some of them, the infrastructure, some of them, the human resource is a very big challenge that we have. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.